Goal setting. Is it helpful? How do you do it? If you're a spiritual person, what's the best way to go about it? Last year, I did something radically different and I was a lifetime goal setter. And I'm going to show you in this video today what I did differently, what I'm going to do this year, and what makes all the difference. So, my name is Gavin Weber. This is Dissolving the Illusion. Very excited that you are here joining me watching this video. It is the end of 2020, the crazy year of 2020. This is when everybody starts thinking about, what they want to happen in 2021, what they want to have happen in the future, and they start looking at resolutions and goals. All right. Now, I'm going to share some stories that I think will be really helpful to you, give you a little bit of information on my background. And if you have not been to this channel before, I invite you to subscribe, hit the bell button. You'll get new notifications. I do about one video per week. So join me. Would love to have you. Like, comment, and excited that you're here. So goal setting. Now, I would consider myself actually very knowledgeable on this subject. Okay, I've actually written books about this subject. I had a book for a number of years on Amazon. I should have looked this up, but it was like goal setting, how to hit your goals with 100% accuracy all of the time. And I think I took it off a few years ago. Sold, I think, like 5,000 copies. But I tell you that because I used to be a huge traditional goal setter. And by the way, this video, I am not knocking on goal setting at all, okay? Depending on what you are looking for, it can be extremely effective. If you want to accomplish tasks, if you want to achieve what you would maybe consider levels of success, if you want to see your life go the exact way you think it should go, like goal setting is a very helpful thing for that subject because you're setting these intentions. Your mind is focusing on what you're wanting. And then, you come up with steps in traditional goal setting to help you get there, okay? And it's a very logical process. It makes all the sense in the world why it happens. You put something out there and think about what you want. You get detailed on that and you know it. You know exactly what it looks like and what it smells like and what it feels like. And then you take steps to make that happen. Now, my book used to go into detail exactly how to do that, how to set goals, how to manifest them, how to work towards them, how to overcome resistance and doubts and fear about them. And what happened over the years is I would achieve many goals. And it would feel good and be like, good for me, I achieved this goal, whether it's financial or like cars or clothes or vacations or whatnot. I achieved a lot of those goals. But I am 46 now. I always have to check. I'm 46. And I realized after all those years, I would hit these goals and I would be like, gosh, okay, what's next? And it would feel good for just a little bit. I mean, sometimes seconds, minutes, maybe days. I feel good about myself. And then boom, it'd be on to the next goal. And what I realized for me, and this is really, I'm going to be talking about spiritual goal setting today, is, what I want to share with you is that I was always needing something outside of myself to look for that approval, to feel like I was powerful, to make this life meaningful for me. And so how I chose to distract myself was goals and going after all those things and what I considered success, okay? And what would happen over and over and over as I achieved goals, I just wouldn't feel any better. There'd still be this void. There'd still be like there's something missing. There's no meaning. There's not like the purpose. It just never satiated that appetite for what was missing. And if you're watching this video, that's probably you to a certain degree, I would think, okay? Then on the other side of it, there was a lot of goals I didn't hit, okay? And that would make me feel bad, and that would make me question myself, and that would defeat the whole purpose of why I was setting goals in the first place, was to kind of, make me feel more powerful, make me feel that I had ability, make me feel better about life, that things were going the way that I wanted them to go. So therefore, life was good. Therefore, like, I had it figured out and other people didn't. Therefore, like, look at me. And quite frankly, very, very ego-based. And, year after year after year of doing that and setting goals every year and usually every month and writing books on it, I just realized that wasn't the solution. Like, it wasn't working for me. So once I took a look at that, like, everything changed. And that's kind of funny how that works. I'm a Course in Miracles student. That's what a lot of the information on these videos is about. I feel called to get this information out to the world because I feel like it's misunderstood. I feel like people, if they understood the concepts and applied them, their lives would drastically change. And the reasons that they think they're setting goals to feel better about lives, to feel more connected, to feel more powerful, would all happen without needing any of those goals to occur. And that's where it gets very cool. That's where everything changes. And so last year, I decided, after, I usually set like an income goal. I would set, some financial goals. I would set vacation goals. I'd set family goals. And again, all those things, it's not like it's a bad thing, but my salvation, my purpose, my meaning, who I was as a person, were all tied up in those things. And I felt like I was just treading water. Like, the water would just rise as like the goals got bigger, and I was just not going anywhere. So last year I was like, I've got to do something different. And holy smokes, to look at where powerful, I'm not saying I, totally manifested the pandemic, but in my world, in my illusion, in my dream, I take responsibility that I did, all right? And we're all co-creators. It's an Abraham Hicks term if you're into Abraham. But, as far as A Course in Miracles, it's, like, I'm creating this dream. This is all an illusion. And so when I decided not to like write down the goals and not do what all the goal setters say, and I was like, what would that look like? And first, to admit, it was scary. Like, I don't know. Like, almost like the essence of the life I had created and who I was all behind goals. And if I gave goals up, it could all come crashing down. And one of the things I've realized over the years is, like, although the good side of goals is that you focus on something and then, we're creators. Of course, those things come into our lives, and maybe not exactly the way we looked, but a lot of times close, that we limit ourselves with goals. That we're way beyond like that amount of like money we think is going to solve all our problems. We're way beyond, those like, vacations and all this stuff that all of us want to like feel safe and to feel worthy and to feel loved, right? So we set all these goals in hopes of those things happening, and then it just never seems to be enough. So I was like, what would it look like to not set goals? And then I got over that fear. And it's like, like, this is what I've done, and then I'm gonna have a bad year. And I just went into the year with this one intention, and this is how I set my goal for last year, and I gave up goals all at the same time. My number one thing as a spiritual student, as a student and possibly a teacher of A Course in Miracles, is that I want to remember that I am one with God, that I am absolute love, and that everything else that is not of that within my mind, including bodies and any negativity and anything having to do with politics or lack or anything, is an illusion. And it's a judgment that I've placed that is not true. And so I want to restructure my mind like what I feel like Jesus did and what A Course in Miracles teaches. And I don't want to lose you when I mention Jesus. There's many illusions of bodies of people who have done this and become enlightened and awakened. And that's what's happening in the world right now. There's this awakening. Like, people are like, there's got to be something more to this. There's got to be a better way. Like murder and war and poverty and all the craziness that's happened in the world, there's got to be a better way, right? And so this is what it looks like in the dream of the collective unconscious calling this forth. So, how did I this past year do? What goal did I set? And again, I just wanted to come from love. I wanted to kind of walk the world as Jesus would. In every moment, to try my best. I failed a lot at this, and I didn't judge myself, but to be in the present moment, to not judge other people, to not come from attack, to not come from having to be right, to not needing anything to go the way I need it to go in order to feel good about a certain goal, or that I have life figured out, or that I'm safe, or that I have enough abundance, right? That I was going to come from oneness. I was going to come from love. I was going to come from acceptance without needing anything to happen. And with that, congruently, that I allow it to unfold as it will, as it already has, as it's going to, and not needing to change it at all. And when I feel inspired, like to do these videos, I do that. I feel like that's the universe, for me, in my language, I would say the Holy Spirit guiding me as part of my awakening, as part of my function, as part of my role to wake up, to experience who I really am, and to have this goal of oneness in true form. And when I say true form, I mean more true reality. I don't mean like physical form. It's buying into what I think is happening here, which is where we all get lost. We think our goals are us. We think, when we make a couple $100,000, or people make $1 million, or like that defines them. That is nothing. That is not real. That does not matter. And I know on this physical world, bills and clothing and food matter. I'm not saying yet, what if you were able to come from a place that those aren't the things that drive you? That that those are just going to be supplied to you in absolute abundance, and that you get to connect with yourself, connect with other people, to come from absolute love and acceptance, and not needing anything from anyone else, to see the Christ mind in them, to see the God in them, to see in you in them as a mirror of that love. And that was my goal this past year. And during a pandemic, which I admit I had concerns, I had fears, I had stuff come up, without setting a number goal, it all worked out. I had my second year, best year ever. And I'm not sharing that as do this because you'll still hit your goals, this sly way to get around it. It's that everything's fine without us thinking we need to do a certain thing. And that somehow our purpose and our meaning and our ability and our power comes from goal setting, or comes from having things go the way that we want them to go. So many things didn't go the way that I was expecting them this year. The pandemic, masks, jobs, vacations, everything was so many things were taking from us the normal things that my family does. And it's been painful and it's been hard, and I've experienced fear, but I've also had a really good year, because I didn't put the onus, I didn't put the focus on anything needing to happen a certain way to then be happy, to then come from love. And I'm reversing the cause and effect. I'm not saying in my mind, as soon as I cause success to look a certain way, that effect then is going to make me happy. I first come from the truth of who I am, from love. And I allow the effects, the miracles to unfold. So this year, 2021, I'm going to take it a step further. And I'll have other videos on how I do this, with my morning routine and throughout the day, what I focus on, what I'm reading. There's all kinds of different ways to look at this, but I'm here to tell you in this video, you do not need traditional goals to be happy, to experience abundance, to come from and experience absolute love within yourself and for other people. That you can move beyond the illusion that we think is happening in this world and all the atrocities and bombs going off and vaccines and Trump and Putin and Biden and whatever side you've taken to make yourself feel better, that none of that matters. That you can set one goal, and that goal is to come from love. And that goal is to not experience fear in any form. And that then the actions, the inspiration, the purpose, the function, the meaning is to come from that. You'll have inspired ideas that you'll do on a daily basis to help you, stay there, to move through fear, to come out of anxiety, and not to worry about this world. You'll get to participate in actions of love that will show you who you really are and give you that experience. And then you get to be in joy without needing anything, detachment from anything happening. That's what's interesting about this world, is if it goes the way we think it should go, then we're happy. So it's all conditional. That sucks, because most of the time, if what our eyes are seeing aren't going to be exactly that. But what if you can flip the script and not need anything to happen, and to allow as much abundance, as much love, as much joy as you could ever imagine to come into your life? You won't need the goals anymore. That's the goal. And to allow the experience to unfold, to be in this present moment, to let go of the past, to not focus on the future, and to know that you are connecting with God. You are creating with God. Like right now in this illusionary world, most of us feel like we're separated from God, and we feel guilty about that. We feel bad. We feel scared. So the whole thing is a distraction from that. And then we try to overcome that with things like goals. And when you let go of that and you create with God, then I just hand things over. I don't have to worry. Like, hey, whether you call it prayer or I have conversations, meditations, hey, I'm releasing this to you. I'm handing this over to you. Please help me through this, the highest and best good. Your will is my will. And there's no more pressure. I had a conversation with my mom this morning, and she's like, oh, how do you feel about your job and what's happening with the pandemic, and how are things going with construction? And I'm in construction consulting sales, and I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm not going to go to I have college coming up for my kids. I have these bills. I have this lifestyle I have to keep. I don't have those fears that dictate me anymore, that makes me go set goals to then keep up that needing to happen that way so I feel secure. And I know I'm being a little repetitive, but I want you to understand that concept. You don't need anything out there going a certain way to have peace, to connect with God, to be of who you really are and the reality of love. And that everything that's happening here is kind of tricking us into thinking that we do need things to go a certain way. We do need to pay bills and eat food and be clothed. And I understand we get to go through that process, that experience, but that doesn't have to be what we're doing with our time and with our mind to just get through life. So, this year, is taking it to the next level. Of what that looks for me is every day just trying to be focused on today, focused on seeing everybody as love, focused on not coming from judgment, coming from acceptance, and allowing the truth to be within my soul, to be within my mind. And the will of that creation, of creating with God, of being one and being love, and to let that expression in what I'm creating come out into the world, however that looks, and being okay with some people don't understand or question me or think I'm weird. I don't care. Happy. I want to continue to be even happier. I'm joining with God. I'm joining with you. One mind, one universe, one love. That's my goal. That will be my goal. And that's the only goal that for me, after all these years, really matters. That makes a difference. That provides me what I was looking for in all those other goals for all those years. So, in 2021, year after year, I encourage you. It's okay if you're still gonna, feel comfortable, just like where you're at. No judgment here. If you still want to set other goals, but what if one of your goals was, I want to experience my truth. I want to experience oneness with God. I want to love other people, and I want to love myself, and I want to be the essence and the walking example of what love looks like in a body. That's my goal. Join me. Join us. Join yourself. Many blessings. All is working out perfectly. All is unfolding. And when you come from this place of trust and faith, which is basically what I'm doing with allowing it to unfold and just coming from love, you're going to have some really cool shit happen. And your fears will go away. And you'll be able to create miracles in that space. You're allowing that. Things beyond your wildest dreams. And then you will this with God, and you get to still do all this amazing stuff, but not from the seat of needing it or attached to it, more from just allowing it and being good with what happens, because it's all a blessing, and that's all we are. Everything else is an illusion. So happy 2021. Happy goal settings for this year. And I encourage you to look at a new way of setting one goal. Much love, my friends. Bye-bye.